And good afternoon, folks. Warp103 bringing another video. This time we're going to be talking about matchmaking. This topic has come up a lot, so sit back, relax, and of course, enjoy the show.
I'm gonna have to rain down a godly firestorm on you.
And thank you for viewing this video. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking the icon above, and then of course hitting the bell icon to get notifications when the next video drops. So here we go. All right, now this topic comes up on the forums a lot, and I'm not talking about, I was actually going to, there's two types of matchmaking that again goes on that's talked about on the forums. One is matchmaking between tanks of the same type and likeness, and then you have matchmaking that involves well, skill-based matchmaking. I'm going to leave the skill-based matchmaking off to the side for right now, and I'm only talking about basically you have a couple of tanks inside of game and the matchmaking and how the matchmaker does not work. Now, someone put a comment up, and you're seeing the comment right here. Imagine if we live in a world where Wargaming aggressively listens to the loud feedback on this forum. In the year 2027, all tanks of all tiers or HP adjusted Sherman Easy 8s, someone would find a way to complain about it being unbalanced matchmaking. Okay. Then you're going to see what I'm saying right here. So that imagine that matchmaking was balanced, so a 50B would not meet each chieftain, because this happens a lot, or some other tank that's out of his class role. And I was saying, because this person commented to the person that actually made this post, and I was saying, so that the person that posted was just showing that some tanks matchmaking should be more balanced to other tanks. Now the person was actually poo-pooing on the post maker, so that, and I'm saying that wasn't cool. But again, right or wrong, the person stated his opinion. Now his opinion was, why was a Kranvagen, being put up against a T-57 heavy? Now in this case here, you only have, and I did this video as you can see inside of here, so that I already did the Kranvagen versus how it classes the T-57 heavy. I did the T-57, how it outclasses the AMF-50B. The problem is, in this case here, that's the reason why I said the outpost the person that made the post is incorrect, because since there's only 3 tier 10 heavy autoloaders, there are no choices. It doesn't matter which one the matchmaker picks, as long as if it's putting it against one of the other autoloaders in this group, Kranvagen, T-57, or the AMX-50B, they might play differently, but they are all autoloaders. They are all relatively fast. Now armor schemes and everything else, that makes it completely different, and everything else, so that how the guns perform are completely different. But class wise, these are the same tank. This is your dream if you actually get matchmaking with fits you with what you have right here. So again, this is just one part of it. Now we're going to get to another part of it right now. All right. Now I had to scroll down to the post. Again, y'all don't want to be blowing people up and everything else to that. So you can see the post above. It says, some years ago, matchmaking was updated to match, or at least try to match, vehicles based on their combat role. You don't have, or wouldn't have, 3 E100s facing 3 EMXBs on Helmsdorf. This feature you're describing is already in the game and has been for years. If you're going to speak on a topic, you should be educated about it. Okay. Now, bing! Here's my post back. This feature does not work in the game. And the person that I'm talking about, so that no, this doesn't work in the game, because examples were posted in our forums multiple times showing with the imbalances. So, you know, base lessons for that, you know, if I post some of them battles, now what you're seeing on the screen right now, I'm actually going to move my face once I finish reading it. But again, if you tune up with people, the rule doesn't apply. If you solo queue with a chieftain or a 279E, you know, basically the OP tanks, you're likely not going to get a chieftain or a 279E on the other team. It basically is going to be unbalanced because again, you have these are two OP ass tanks that can be matched with anybody. Now again, we're going to look at just this is just a minute. Other times you'll have 3 barbecues on the side or none on the other. Now, people for some odd reason don't want to acknowledge that this happens. Don't want to acknowledge that this happens, unbalanced matchmaking happens on a normal basis. They're saying that the update was, again, posted the update so this wouldn't happen, or at least tries to. If it's something that's trying to happen, this wouldn't happen as often as it does. I stream, so anybody can look at my stream games and look at the unbalance of the tanks. You can watch the streams going back for a year because it's how long I've been streaming, so that, and you can look at it, it's like, okay, you can go battle by battle and see how tanks are no way close to being balanced. Okay. Now again, I'm not gonna go into the other stuff and everything else, but my point is this: I'm gonna move my face over to the other side. And I just want you to peep out. Now, this was from, yes, in this case here, when this video comes out, it's probably going to be the day before yesterday. But it's still going to be the case. Okay, we moved our face over here. All right. Now, this is a link to the VOD. You know, I'm put it in the description, but all you have to do is look at the VOD from Wednesday night from my perspective on Twitch. Sorry, I should put the date inside of it. We're looking at, it would be the 8/4. Okay. Now, I did 20 battles that night. Now, I didn't go further than the first 10 battles because, again, at this point, you can get it through your head. Out of 10 battles, how unbalanced the tank classes are. Now, the first battle of the night, our top tier, the tier was like this: IS-22, which is a double barrel tank. So that means he's an autoloader, right? He can see tier 10s. So his gun caliber matching how much his armor is better. His gun, it has a higher penetration both on standard rounds and on premium rounds, versus an IS-6, which is tier limited, meaning it can only see tier 9s. Its gun compared to the IS-22 is trash, and I like the IS-6. But if you're comparing apples to apples, the IS-6 is slower, doesn't have as much armor. It's not a double barrel, so meaning that you have an autoloader versus a non-autoloader. The gold round and the standard round doesn't have anywhere close to the penetration as the other one has, and basically the gun handling overall is not even close. That's our top tier. So you're automatically starting out, the other guy or whoever's on your team is starting out at a deficit because you have a tier limited tank versus a non-tier limited tank. But the matchmaking doesn't make these mistakes. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Battle 2 and 3 were, I didn't include, even though it was not balanced, but I'm trying to show extreme cases of unbalanced to make it easier. So not, you know, not, okay, well, you have a tank that's a little bit better than the other tank and everything else, so that, you know, or more autoloads. I was going for the extreme. So that's why I skipped those two. I went to battle number 4. Battle number 4, you had 2 Scorpion tanks, no armor, small, slow, versus an HTC, lots of armor, and an SU, lots of armor. How do these two match up against each other? They don't. Because it could have been one Scorp on their team, and we have one of the other ones to make it even. No, matchmaking didn't do that. Okay, let's go to battle number 5. Now again, I had 20 battles this night. Actually, it was a little bit more. And if I wanted to keep going after the 10, because I did look, and there were a lot more like this and like that. So again, if I'm looking at 10 battles, out of 10 battles, you'll see what I'm talking about. Battle number 5 was a Super Conch versus an E100. A super heavy versus a tank that's not a super heavy, that has speed, has armor, that can hold down and everything else. So that, you know, these don't match up at all. Straight line speed, nope. Armor, nope. They don't match up at all. But okay, let's add insult to injury. In the same match, we have two, count them, 2 IS 3-2s. So that means they had, sorry, again, I'm not saying we, I'm talking about overall in the battle. 2 autoloaders, which are heavies. On the other side, we have a tortoise and a type 4 heavy. So that means they're automatically, that means we are having already a mismatch on one's a heavy tank, one's a TD, whereas they have two heavies. Second thing is that tortoise and type 4 are slow as F versus a heavy tank that is faster than both of them. So you have speedy boys, no heavies, autoloaders are heavies, and one person is short a heavy altogether. Yup, matchmaking working as intended.
You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
Okay. Battle number 6. One team has an EBR, the next team has a T-54 lightweight. Now, rank battles, because they know EBRs are so broken, has what? If one team has half an EBR, the other team has to have an EBR. Why? For balance. Even Wargaming knows that it's unbalanced to have one team without an EBR. It's basically dumb. That's the reason why, quote unquote, way that the roles work in ranked they're not including that in the pubs. Number 7. Battle number 7. One team has 3 EBRs, the other team has 2. So effectively, it's like that with an extra EBR, guess what happens? One can be on one flank, one can be on the other flank, one can be in the middle. And they all can function as what? Light tanks. So one team has a spotting advantage, the other team will basically get effed. Okay. Battle number 8. Ding, 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 ding. Like I said up before, it's like that. One team can have a chieftain. And I actually had, this was edited in. I made my top part of the post, which is this side over here. Oops, sorry. That post on that side of it was actually made first, and then I started looking through the things from last night just to prove a point, was added in later. So one team has a chieftain, the other team has a super conch. One super outpost tank versus a tank it's decent, but it ain't a chieftain. The 10th one, the kicker. Just to show you how effing stupid matchmaker is. We have tier 9. One team gets a medium tank, the other one gets a TD. Meaning that, again, as it's posted right there, one team did not have a tier 9 TD at all. The other team had 2 medium tanks. And the kicker is 2 medium tanks that are literally fast versus a T-95 that trundles along and gets to where it goes to and everything else like that. Yes, it has superior armor, but you don't think one of those mediums can hit them tracks, flank it, and kill it? So again, how in the ever-loving F can you legitimately make that statement, over there, saying that matchmaking was updated and fixed and try to make these matches right, whereas out of 10 battles, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, there were 2 that I didn't include because they were still off, but these are extreme examples. 7 extreme examples of where the matchmaker is not working the way people think it works. And, again, then you wonder why, it snowballs. It's easy to see. Because, again, if one team has the better matchups, I'm not talking about skill. I'm just talking about the tank matchups for that. One has a better tank comp than the other. The other team may still be able to pull it off, may still be able to win, but the problem is they have to overcome this stupidness that is the matchmaker. So please, before you try to grow a brain and say you should educate somebody about how matchmaker work, why don't you deal with reality and deal with how it actually works? Because just because you make a rule don't mean to say that that rule is actually going to be A, followed, B, working as intended. Now, all of these matches here, because again, I stream when I start streaming, it's in prime time. I'm on the East Coast. I start at 10 o'clock. The West Coast and stuff like that, you already know, is 3 hours behind that and stuff like that. So for them, it's 7. So even by the time I log off, it's still prime time, where most of the people should be still on playing the game, right? So you can't say, well, the matchmaker was because it was a low server count. This was done because of some oddball reason. No, this is how this happens majority of the time. Again, I know Wargaming has put some systems in place, but the systems, as we already know, just looking at the screen, don't work. Now, if you want to challenge this and you want to go back and look at the history of my Twitch things and look at the matchups, because again, when I stream, I constantly call this out. I'm like, okay, this matchups with this matchups with that. Oh, wow, we're gonna have a hard road because they have better team comp. We should have an easier time because we have the better team comp. I call this out every time I stream so people will understand how matchmaking can influence you win or lose. Now, if you're a good player, yes, you can overcome being at a deficit for the matchmaker, but don't sit there and try to come out your face and be like you're the biggest person in the world and you know everything when you literally can see it on a daily basis if you actually looked. Now again, you can say instead of, well, that doesn't happen. Again, look at my VODs for the past year. You literally can sit there and match it up for yourself and see how the team comp works out. More often than not, as you can plainly see, again, out of 10 battles, 7 of those battles were matchmaking screws. Can this be fixed? Yes, quite easily. Klaus Kellerman has covered this. Des Game has covered it. Lots of people have already covered this. When a person actually said what they said, I was flabbergasted because this was talked about. This has been all over the internet. All you have to do is implement the rules that ranked has to regular battles, and guess what? This crap wouldn't happen because the first battle should have been, if I'm playing in IS-6, guess what should have happened? I should be playing a heavy tank of that's tier limited. Does it have to be another IS-6? No, but there are other tanks that are tier limited that it'd have been faced against. If 2 Scorpions on the team, well, you're gonna take the Scorpion from one team, put it on the other, the SU or the HDC from that team, put it on the other team to even it out. Again, these guys were not on their tune. If you want to tune up, and again, the autoloaders in the next battle, the IS-32s were in a tune. If you have a tune of this type of tank, you need to expect that the matchmaker takes a wee bit longer to match you up with 2 of the same kind of type. It shouldn't be, again, okay, well, it matches you up with, well, 2 heavies. In this case here, you already see it didn't even bother to match you up with 2 heavies, but it should have you matched up with 2 like heavies, 2 auto loaders. It shouldn't be broken. And again, this is an extreme case where auto loaders versus non-auto loaders and a missing heavy. Again, like it is in ranked, if you have an EBR on one team, you should have an EBR on the other to make it fair, so it doesn't be like, oh, this guy can sit there and say blah, 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 run around and slide that and spot everybody and get away with it. One of the barbecues from the 7th battle should have been dropped for any other tank, any other medium tank that's a non-auto loader. Chieftain, if you earned a Chieftain. I'm not begrudging you earn a Chieftain, but you should be matched up against a tank that will be able to equal what a Chieftain is. Again, that's how it is in ranked battles. And just the 10th battle is just plain straight up ridiculousness. A medium tank for a TD, and a TD is slow as F versus an autoloader. Please, for the love of God. But I need to educate myself. Right. Well, this is Warp103 saying warp out, have fun, and guess what? Catch your guys on the next one.